So this is my entry to the Moog Circuit Bending Challenge 2013. This is a Casio SK1 or Concentrate 500. I've already started on circuit bending. I have some wires attached to these two junctions in there, and it changes up the drum beat a little bit, and it changes up the sound of the just the regular keytones and stuff. So let me give you a little demonstration. So if I have the pipe organ, if I have the synthesizing, this is the best way to find out. It's synthesizing right now. Then you turn this little switch, turn it back on, and that starts happening. Then you press synthesizing again, and then changes up the tone a lot. Makes it sound really cool. So then when you turn on the drum rhythm section, it's going, you flip the little switch, so that happens. And then I found out that if you hold down sampling and switch the switch, and the switch, and then you turn the switch back on, it just samples, I think, the random electricity that is firing through the keyboard. And the demonstration freaks out too when you hit that. And you can turn it off, turn it back on. Yeah, it's not really musical, but it's makes it sound a little bit more interesting. And what I'm planning to do is I'm going to So I'm going to connect random points, about 5, because I'm going to use a MIDI cable to make my Casio tone more like a modular synth. And I'm going to get into more of that later. And I'll see you back when I start soldering more points in and see what weird noises I get. So I found some pretty cool points. It's going to be kind of hard for me to film, so I'm just going to sit the camera down and hopefully you can see what's going on. But I marked all the points with a black point, and I have 5 points. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each one does something a little different. So let's find out. So I got all the wires soldered into those points that I feel make the most interesting noises. And I'm going to connect the other tips of the wire to this little MIDI thing that I had laying around. Got this a while ago. And I'm going to connect them all to these 5 points. And then this is going to plug into a MIDI wire, which is going to plug into the modular area that I have, and this red wire is going to be the main source of it. So I'm going to have a patch cord coming from this red wire acting as the wire to the other 4 points to see which individual noise I want to make. I'm going to have probably a couple of potentiometers to have resistance and how much noise comes in that adds to it. But yeah. So I got all the traces leading to this MIDI out section. I'm going to hot glue it down just so none of the wires touch each other. It's going through this little hole right there. And we'll check back in when I have my enclosure built for it. Okay, so I got it all closed up, and this is going to be where the MIDI plugs into, but it's not going to actually be MIDI capability. And this is the cord I'm going to use. So each point is going to correspond to a different plug. And when you connect this first point to any of those, the circuit will kind of freak out. So let's see what happens when I have the enclosure all built. So I just found another interesting point. I connected it to this little part right there, and it's connected to the same resistor that I had it before, and I'm going to drill in a potentiometer to mess with the pitch bend. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, so I got my pitch wheel modded in there. I changed the switch to do something different now because the pitch wheel messed with the pitch too much and I couldn't get the right note anymore. And I still want to use this keyboard as like a regular keyboard. That's why I'm building a separate enclosure for it. But so this is how it regularly sounds. And then turn this guy on. And then if I hold down like something like this, just play a simple note. And you turn it off. Normal. Yeah, so yeah. So it freaks out the keyboard. So I'll check back in when my enclosure is being built. So I found my old router that I don't use anymore. Gutted it out. I'm gonna use this as the enclosure to house the modular part of it. And so since the potentiometers at Radio Shack are extremely long, I would saw it down, make it a little shorter, just so it can fit with the knob on top a lot better. Sorry for all the sniffling, I'm getting over a cold. But let's see how this thing turns out. I'm really excited about using this enclosure instead of using the wood I was planning on using before. So I got the top of the enclosure all almost set up. The inside's not fully done. I have to wire up everything else. These little connectors real quick. But I'm just wanting to do a really quick test to see if everything works. So let's start a drum beat. Yep, seems like it's working all fine. So here's the finished product. I have all my knobs and little junctions in there. This cord's going straight to the MIDI. And let's see how it turned out. Turn on my rhythm section. Take this out, put it over here. Let me set this down. So, yep, and all the other little junctions do a little bit of something else. I'm gonna label them just so I can remember. This one's the drum. These two kind of like freak out the keys, and this one makes it more synthesizer sounding. I'll give you a little demonstration of that. Okay, so you hit synthesizing. Does this little thing. Twist this knob all the way. Twist it back. Twist it up. Work. There we go. Twist it all the way down, and then hit synthesizing again, and then here we go. Yep, and then up here, this is just my little and that is my circuit bend for 2013, the Moog Circuit Bending Challenge. I'm Michael Johnson, and here's my circuit bend of a Casio SK1.